Actually, no. Food, supplements, drinks, powders, none of that will detox you. What detoxes you is your own liver and your kidneys. Hopefully those are in optimal condition for you. If not, there are supplements and of course medications that can help to keep them okay. But the bottom line is that there's a lot of money to be made by selling people the idea that they can detox their body from poisons and chemicals and their own wrongdoing very quickly and painlessly and effortlessly by just swallowing a pill or taking a powdered supplement. And unfortunately that is a quick fix, and it's not true. However, food can. And see, what I'm showing here is the fact that the word detox has been used in relation to food, and we need to not normalize that, because detox should really be about drugs and alcohol and maybe some heavy metals if you've been thoroughly exposed, right? So when it comes to foods, that's not the case. But foods are medicinal, they're very powerful, and they can in fact heal. So if say for example your liver is not past the point of no return, your liver is self-rejuvenating, and you can help expedite that process with the proper nutrients and giving your body the right kind of fuel and the right kind of minerals and amino acids and vitamins that it needs to be more efficient and to become more of an efficient detoxing system. But there is nothing that's going to make that happen for you. I think there's a misconception about that, especially when people know that you can take these drinks and then you're not going to ever test positive for drugs or whatever. No, that's not detoxing you though. I'm not even going to get into all that. Point is, eat healthy, and then your own personal detox system will kick in and be very efficient, and you won't need to spend a ton of money on a bunch of crap that doesn't work. So right here I am sauteing a leek. I'm taking a leek and some garlic, minced garlic cloves, and sauteing them in olive oil. Of course you can use whatever oil you prefer. Hopefully it's heart healthy, not saturated fat. You don't want to put it in lard or bacon grease, but any type of heart healthy oil would be fabulous. And you just want to cook them down until they're soft and a little caramelized. Meanwhile, we're going to get the broth going. I'm using a bone broth that I made in my Instant Pot a few months ago that I put in the freezer. You can use any broth you'd like. If you're a vegetarian, of course, use a veggie broth or even water. But bone broth, has some health properties that really kind of make this even more intensely healthy. As far as the veggies go, I'm following the original recipe, but you can use whatever kind you'd like. I'm using spinach, kale, a sweet potato, broccoli, and the fresh herbs I'm choosing are basil and parsley, because that's pretty much what I have on hand. But you can use anything you want. You can add carrot, you could add onion, you can add mushrooms, whatever tickles your fancy on this. But I really encourage you to follow this recipe first. I'm also using whatever spices I want. So I'm using the turmeric. Nature seasoning is salt, pepper, and garlic mixed together, and tarragon. And again, you can add ginger, you can add curry if you want some spice, some chili flakes. You could even add a serrano pepper or jalapeno. So now my leeks and my garlic are pretty much done. They're right where I want them to be, slightly caramelized, soft. So I'm going to take those off the heat and put those aside while I let my bone broth come to a boil. And now that it is getting there, I'm going to add my sweet potato. Now if you'll notice, it's a very rough cut, and that's because we're going to be blending this soup. So you don't have to worry about making the cuts perfect. Now I'm adding my kale and my broccoli after about 15 minutes of letting the potatoes cook. And I'm going to let these simmer for about 10 minutes until they too are, broccoli soft, the kale's wilted. Adding a little bit more water because I don't want it to be the consistency, excuse me, of a milkshake. I prefer it to be a little thinner, so I added some more water, and that was soy sauce to give it, you know, a little bit of a depth and a sodium kick. Now I'm going to add those leeks and that garlic into the broth. You can of course keep it like this if you'd like, kind of a hybrid between a salad and a soup, or you can go ahead and blend them. If you don't have an immersion blender, that's fine. Just be sure that you cool it down a little bit, because I worry about people using hot liquids in a blender. So this is the spinach and the parsley that I'm adding. And again, any type of fresh herbs that you have on hand, go for it. There's really no rules with this. So now that it's all mixed up and incorporated, I'm going to let this simmer for a little bit longer. Make sure everything's nice and soft, and now I'm going to add my spices. Like I said, anything goes. I'm not measuring them. Like I can't tell you, oh, that's a teaspoon, that's a half a teaspoon. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, because this is really one of those soups that you kind of keep tasting as you go along to see what it needs, because it is vegetable based, so you really have to rely on the spice for flavor. I'm adding a little bit of caldo de tomate, which is basically a tomato bouillon, for just a little bit more of a flavor enhance, and it worked. It was perfect spice level for me. So any type of spices you want to add to it, because you know it's vegetables, it gets a little boring. So now I'm using the blender, as you can see, and it'll blend up really, really quickly. And it's so good. I really encourage you guys to try it, especially if you hate vegetables. There is not one vegetable that stands out. So even if you hate some of the components of this, you're not going to taste it. Trust me when I say that when all of these veggies get together, and here I am, you know, making sure for spice and taste, when they all get together, it's like a whole different dimension of food. So you don't taste one in particular, it's just a medley of flavor and healthiness. Your body's going to thank you, trust me on that. So I added some homemade Greek yogurt, a little dollop of that. It's almost like sour cream. For my probiotic component, you can sprinkle some cilantro or other fresh herbs on top. Oh my god, I already feel my liver rejuvenating. It's amazing. Trust me, this is the best breakfast you could have.